Yuchi Yuan's only wish before he died was not to be buried with me. His original wife, his children, and relatives were all shocked. I alone remained expressionless. He hated that in our youth I falsely claimed his token, causing him to miss his elder sister, and that I further led to her wasting away and dying in the palace. Since we were resentful partners in life, there is no need to be entangled in death. After an elaborate and dignified funeral, I fell into a deep sleep. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to my youth. Before I was married, my elder sister was beaming, whispering to me, "Luoa, what do you think of the Yuchi family's young master?" I quietly gaze at the familiar face before me, exactly the same as the face I used to see in the mirror every morning when I was young. After 15 years, my elder sister by blood, Su Yunshu, has finally entered my dreams after Yuchi Yuan died. "Why are you spacing out? I'm talking to you." She jabbed my elbow, a crafty glint on a face not much different from mine. "Last month General Yuchi returned to the city in triumph with Yuchi Yuan. You went to sneak a look too, didn't you?" "Don't think I didn't see. At this banquet, you've been stealing glances at him the whole time." I stared at her, dazed. How is this exactly the same as what she said 20 years ago? "If you're fond of him, I have a way." "Elder sister, mind your words." I cut her off. "Young Master Yuchi is a youthful hero. Anyone would look at him a few extra times. Please don't make casual assumptions, sister." Ignoring her expression, I followed my memories and walked through the familiar courtyard back to my boudoir. Looking at the familiar furnishings and arrangements, I finally became certain that I had been reborn to the time before I told that lie and gambled away my whole life. I let out a soft laugh, though my face was damp and cold. 15 years, an entire 15 years since Su Yunshu died. I've faced the cold, empty Yuchi Manor for 15 years. Yuchi Yuan would rather fight and bleed on distant battlefields than come home. I alone managed the vast Yuchi Manor, honoring my in-laws above and raising the children below, only to receive, before Yuchi Yuan died of a recurring illness, his last words, "He did not wish to be buried with me." It's clear he hates me to the core. My children, grandchildren, and relatives tried to comfort me, but I felt as if a great weight had been lifted. If there really is a world after death, I wouldn't want to be entangled with him again. Perhaps heaven knew my wish and actually let me live it all over again. In her previous life, Su Yunshu traveled with her uncle and accidentally saved the injured Yuchi Yuan. After spending a few days together, Yuchi Yuan developed feelings for her. Before leaving, he revealed his true identity and left a jade pendant as a token. Only then did Su Yunshu learn that he was the son of General Yuchi. General Yuchi was deeply favored by the emperor. After the great victory at the Battle of Pingcheng, his status rose visibly and rapidly. He was precisely the man Su Yunshu admired and whom Prince Cheng wanted to win over. With the Su family backing Prince Cheng, she was all but certain to become Prince Cheng's wife. She saw my quiet admiration for Yuchi Yuan and handed this jade pendant to me, allowing me to get close to Yuchi Yuan so that the Yuchi family and the Su family could become in-laws and strengthen King Cheng's faction. And indeed, it later succeeded. But once King Cheng ascended the throne, the first person he kicked aside was Su Yunshu, who had contributed greatly to his struggle for the crown, and he devoted exclusive favor to his cousin, the noble consort. In the back-and-forth struggles of the inner palace, Su Yunshu pined away and died. She seemed to regret it before dying and remembered Yuchi Yuan, who had once been utterly sincere to her. She sent someone with a letter, laying out in full how I had falsely claimed that identity back then. Just as Yuchi Yuan learned the truth, his true beloved had already died. In his fury, he abandoned me, heavy with child, and volunteered for war. For the next 15 years, all that remained for me was a cold, retreating figure. Since then, I've regretted it countless times. I regret my greed, I regret my foolishness. In youthful infatuation for a moment, I mistakenly staked my entire life on it. I wiped my face clean and looked at my calm, youthful features in the mirror. This time, I won't too. Su Yunshu, however, did not give up. Compared to letting Yuchi Yuan know she will be the future Princess Cheng and using this jade pendant to buy a favor, it would be more solid to make the Su and Yuchi families relatives by marriage, which would better strengthen Prince Cheng's power. I Her twin born from the same womb and identical in appearance, I'm an even better choice. She told me about the jade pendant. After I refused, she still persisted relentlessly. Luoa, why are you still shy in front of your elder sister? I responded with just 4 words. Sister, be careful what you say. Seeing I wouldn't admit it, Su Yunshu had to change her approach. You know as well as I do that father now favors Prince Cheng. If our family could marry into the Yuchi household and sway them to support the prince, father would certainly be pleased. She took my hand, speaking earnestly. This is a matter concerning the rise and fall of our Su family. If it succeeds, our parents and brothers will all be pleased. I looked at her and smiled. In my previous life, when I hesitated and was tempted, Su Yunshu said the same thing. Although she and I share the same mother, because our personalities have always been so different, the family has favored her more since we were children. I'm slow-tempered and not as likable as she is. My opinions and needs are often ignored by the family to find some sense of existence in this household. I didn't think much and just nodded, thinking back. Now, although Su Yunshu is about the same age as me, she's much smarter. She understood my thoughts completely. Sister, I understand what you mean. My tone was earnest. Claiming to be someone else is too risky. If young General Yuchi finds out he was deceived, the marriage between the two families will fail and may even turn into enmity. Su Yunshu replied without thinking. If you had been more careful, you should. What should? Though our faces differ only in small ways, anyone who has spent time with us knows the differences can be huge. I stared fixedly at her. Sister, have you never thought that if things really go as you say and it's exposed, what kind of situation I'll be in? She must have known what I would face when she chose to speak out before she died in her previous life, but she still did it. This. Su Yunshu was taken aback. If you truly want the Yuchi family to marry into ours, you should discuss it with father. He will see it through. When the time comes, Luoa will do as father says. You must never use such deceitful means. Su Yunshu's expression was complicated. She knew that without the jade pendant symbolizing a life-saving grace and the groundwork she had laid, Yuchi Yuan would never have taken a liking to her dull and timid younger sister. The words had been said to this point, and the atmosphere turned a bit frosty. A maid entered to report, breaking the stalemate. 3rd young miss, 4th young miss, someone from the Yuchi family has arrived. Master asks the 2 of you to go over. The Yuchi family. My brows knitted slightly. In my previous life, it was because I took the initiative to bring that jade pendant to seek out Yuchi Yuan that the Yuchi family began to have dealings with the Su family. Before that, one was civil and the other military, each minding its own business, with no interference. Yet now, they've taken the initiative to come knocking. Could it be that? My expression hardened. Yuchi Yuan was reborn. 2-3 Su Yunshu's plans fell through. Yuchi Yuan had come to pay a visit to thank this 3rd young lady for saving his life. Since the other party already knew who his true savior was, there was naturally no more talk of pretending. In the main hall, Yuchi Yuan fixed his gaze tightly on the Su Yunshu before him, a touch of dawning realization in his eyes, along with a hint of joy at a loss regained. Su Yunshu felt a bit ill at ease under his gaze. This is merely what I should do. Young Master Yuchi is a young talent, fighting for the country under the general. Being able to save you is a blessing for the Su family. Father raised a polite smile. Lord Su, you're too kind. Yukai Yuan clasped his fists, his dark eyes full of meaning. 3rd young miss is my life-saving benefactor. I am grateful from the bottom of my heart. If anything arises in the future, just say the word. So he really was reborn as well. Given what I know about him, with a second chance, he would never do nothing. This works too. It saved me a lot of trouble. Amid the warm, harmonious atmosphere, Yuchi Yuan let his gaze fall on me, standing quietly to the side. This must be the 4th young lady, right? Father nodded. This is my youngest daughter. Miss 3rd and Miss 4th really do look alike. Just now when they came in, I nearly couldn't tell which one was my savior. Hearing a hint of mockery in his tone, I tugged at the corner of my mouth. Father said, the youngest daughter is quiet and timid. She seldom leaves the house. If someone could do something like rescuing another outside, it would have to be her elder sister. Miss 3rd is pure and kind. At that banquet she must have recognized me right away. If it were someone else who had done such a good deed, they'd already be eager to come asking for a reward. Some with no shame might even try to claim the credit as their own. As he said this, the corner of his eye flicked toward me. I remained composed, showing no sign of feeling targeted. It was Su Yunshu, on the other hand, whose face went pale for a moment, nearly convinced that her scheme was about to be exposed. After being reborn, Yu Qiyuan came early to expose the matter, and I hadn't had time to make a move. He naturally couldn't have known that I, too, had been reborn in both past and present lives. Yu Qiyuan had long decided that I had forcefully taken the token, and Su Yunshu, who loved her sister, had no choice but to painfully part with it. I've heard worse things than this in my previous life. What does this even count as? After Yu Qiyuan left, Su Yunshu stopped me. Was it you? I was puzzled. What? Was it you who told him that I saved Yu Qiyuan? I only told you about this. Su Yunshu stared intently at my face, utterly disappointed. If the two of us sisters can pull this off, how much honor would it bring to the Su family? I've already told you the stakes. I thought you understood me, but you, I cut her off. Sister, you're convinced it's me. Do you really think the Yuchi family is just for show? They wouldn't investigate on their own. I shut her down. The matter has already been exposed on both sides. Sister, you'd better stop scheming about my marriage and instead think about how to use this life-saving favor to obtain greater benefits for Prince Cheng. For Yu Qiyuan moved quicker than I had imagined. In the previous life he served under Prince Cheng and knew him thoroughly with the advantage of prophecy. Within 3 months Prince Cheng was accused by the censorate of 3 crimes: secretly keeping armor, sheltering deadly retainers, and selling official posts. The emperor was furious and placed him under house arrest on his fief, forbidding him to return to the capital without an imperial edict. Prince Cheng's influence reached the Ministry of Personnel, and his father, the ministry's vice minister, suffered as well. Only because senior officials interceded was he spared exile from the capital and allowed to remain at the Imperial Academy. As for Su Yunshu's involvement with Prince Cheng, it naturally came to nothing. Fortunately, they had not yet become in-laws, so the Su family still had room to maneuver and withdrew in time. Su Yunshu, however, grew increasingly silent and taciturn. Perhaps the grief weighed on her heart, and she fell gravely ill. People from the Yuchi family frequently came to visit, bringing plenty of tonics. After raising me for more than half a month, just as I started to recover, the Yuchi family came to propose marriage. Father and mother agreed. Of course, the Su family's situation is dire now. Anyone with a mind to protect themselves wants nothing to do with us. For the Yuchi family to come with a proposal at this time is undoubtedly a timely help in a snowstorm. Yu Qiyuan and Su Yunshu's marriage was settled, and my father planned to put my marriage back on the agenda. He called me in. Yun Luo, you know as well as I do, our family's remaining in the capital is all thanks to Elder Minister Lin. Coincidentally, Elder Lin has a grandson named Lin Chengbai, about 6 or 7 years older than you. If the two families could be joined in marriage, Lin Chengbai, I cut him off. You mean the one who broke his leg a few years ago and now has trouble walking, right? I knew I wasn't valued at home, but seeing myself so blatantly used as a bargaining chip still sent a chill through me. Father's face stiffened, and then anger flooded in at being exposed. If he weren't incapacitated, it probably wouldn't even be your turn. If you could be like Yun Shu, bending people like Prince Cheng and Yu Qiyuan to your will on your own, then you can afford to be picky. I lowered my head and tugged at the corner of my mouth. Yun Shu really did win over Prince Cheng, and because of that the Su family sided with him. Didn't that bring them trouble? What's the rush? It's not like I said I wouldn't marry you, Lin Chengbai. This man isn't just lame, he's physically frail as well. I remember in my past life, he was gone in less than 2 years. Nothing wrong with that. Take care of them for 2 years, and it'll make your whole life easier. Seeing me relent, Father showed a faint smile. As your father, I knew it. Luoa, you've always been dependable. In a few days, I'll have you two meet. I nodded and left the study. In the courtyard, I ran right into Yu Qiyuan coming this way. I gave a bow and was about to pass by, when Yu Qiyuan suddenly spoke. I know what's on your mind. I stopped in my tracks. Third Miss has a pure and kind heart and was almost fooled by you. her younger sister, but I won't be. Yuchi Yuan turned his head to look at me, expressionless. I can see very clearly what kind of person you are. 5. What kind of person am I? Yuchi Yuan has said countless times that I am full of lies, utterly vain, and the most scheming woman he has ever seen. If not for the child, he would certainly divorce me. Looking at his cold, detached brows and eyes, I suddenly remember that in our previous life, in the years before we married, we once had a beautiful time too. He's fiery and flamboyant by nature, and treats me, his wife, exceptionally well, always stepping in to handle the household matters on my behalf. That kind of concern is something I had never experienced before. When I was young, I spoke a beat too slow. By the time I gathered myself to voice my needs, my older sister would always cut me off later. Even after I got over speaking a beat too slow, father and mother had already pegged me as the one with no real needs. Over time, I became invisible in the Su family. No one cared what I liked, as long as it was the same as my sister's. For the first time, I felt fully and wholeheartedly valued. But what's stolen is still stolen. At the moment the truth came to light, all the tenderness of the past turned to bubbles. I begged, I cried, I clung on. Still it was impossible to win him back until death. He blamed me for deceiving and hiding things from him. Reborn into a new life, Yuchi Yuan feared my schemes would fail and sabotage him again, so he came to warn me. I don't understand what young Master Yuchi is talking about. I took a step back, my expression unchanged. Counting this and the time he came calling before, this is only our second meeting in this life. Even if he is convinced I've plotted 1,000 schemes, in the end nothing has actually happened. What can he do to me? You'd better really not know. Yuchi Yuan let out a soft scoff and was about to say something more when a familiar woman's voice suddenly sounded. Sister. There was a hint of urgency in that voice. I lifted my eyes and saw Su Yunshu walking over. Looking a bit tense, she forced a relaxed smile at me. Luoa, what were you talking about with young Master Yuchi? Nothing. I lowered my lashes, just offering an early greeting to my prospective brother-in-law, that's all. Hearing those 3 words, Su Yunshu's expression steadied a little. I kind of want to laugh. Is she afraid I'll spill her earlier scheming? I'm not that bored. Even if I said it, Yuchi Yuan wouldn't believe it. In this lifetime, with the chance to hold Mingyu in his arms, Yuchi Yuan would never be swayed by a few words from a deceitful, scheming woman like me. Not wishing to say more, I turned and left. In this life, the two of them should simply continue their fate and make up for their regrets. 5. At third young master's birthday banquet at the Lin residence, arranged quietly between the Lin and Su families, Lin Chengbai and I met. He sat in a wheelchair, his complexion pale, his frame thin. Yet his handsome, striking features were still faintly visible. Lin Chengbai was once a distinguished noble youth famed throughout the capital. Born to a scholarly family, his grandfather served as the imperial chancellor, and he himself entered officialdom as a jinsha. Unfortunately, 2 years ago, while investigating the theft of the capital's deployment maps, he was treacherously ambushed by an enemy spy and broke both his legs, never to stand again afterward. The emperor lavished him with honors, but his official career was over. Since then, Lin Chengbai shut himself away, living in dejection, and his marriage was put off until now. This time elder Lin helped the Su family, and the Su family voluntarily proposed a marriage. The Lin family was happy to see it happen and quickly arranged a meeting. They thought it would just be a formality, a chance to get acquainted, but unexpectedly, the first thing Lin Chengbai said was, "Miss Su, I have no intention of marrying. I was just wondering whether this frail body of his could still father a child." When I paused, it seems I was thinking too far ahead. Taking a wife is the Lin family's wish, not his own. Regarding today's meeting, I had no prior knowledge. I was tricked into coming by my family. Lin Chengbai bowed, his expression unruffled. "I'm truly sorry. I'll go back and explain everything clearly to my family." All right. Since things had already been said to this extent, I naturally couldn't press any further. This marriage my father arranged as a favor had originally seemed acceptable to me. Lin Chengbai has a grandfather who is the current Grand Counselor, a father who is the Vice Minister of Rights, and a mother who is a prince's prefectural princess. Even 20 years later, the Lin family remains prosperous. If he could leave a child while he's still alive, that would be best, but he has no such intention, so we'll have to consider other options after returning. I told father and mother what Lin Chengbai meant. Mother sighed. You're always wearing a wooden face and can't say a word. Even if someone had that intention, you'd scare them off. You clearly look just like your sister. Why can't you learn from her? That line again. I've heard this from my mother countless times. As the one born second in the twins, I stayed in the womb a bit longer and nearly suffocated to death, so my mind has been somewhat slow since childhood, because I learned things not as quickly as my sister, didn't speak as cleverly as her, and didn't have as keen an eye as her. My mother constantly nagged us to study harder, telling me and my sister to learn more. The things given to us were always the ones my sister liked. In my previous life, I couldn't contain the grievance in my heart and ended up complaining to my mother, only to be met with her surprise. You were sickly as a child. We all took more care of you back then and inevitably neglected your sister. Now we are making it up to her. I was speechless at the time. I remember little of my childhood. All I recall are the sudden interruptions every time I was about to speak, her strained expression when I was praised, how she handed Yuchi Yuan over in my past life, only to change her mind before dying. All of it shows that my sister didn't want me to be better than her. Reborn once, I will no longer treat her as my closest kin. This family feels like an arena, turning both me and Su Yunshu into unrecognizable versions of ourselves. I lower my gaze and cast my parents' complaints to the back of my mind. 6. I had thought the marriage with the Lin family was completely hopeless, but at the temple, while offering incense, I happened to run into Lin Chengbai's mother. When she saw me, she was still very warm and enthusiastic. I was somewhat puzzled. Had Lin Chengbai not yet explained things to his family? Or did his mother know he was unwilling and still want to force it? If it's the latter, forcing us together would likely end up just like in the previous life, creating a resentful couple. The princess held my hand, wanting to speak but stopping short. Miss Su, Chengbai isn't unwilling, it's just that. She waved the attendants away and showed me a painting. I was taken aback. The woman in the painting was lifelike, unmistakably my likeness. Only she looked somewhat more naive than I do now. This painting was done by Chengbai 2 years ago and kept private in his study. Recently the study leaked during the rains. The servants were tidying the bookcases and came across this painting, and only then did I learn that the one Chengbai admires is you, Miss Su. I stared at the person in the painting, stunned for a long moment before I asked, how did your highness know that the one Mr. Lin painted is me? After all, I have a sister who looks very much like me. Of course I wouldn't fail to recognize myself, but I was curious, how did the Lin family determine that the person in the painting was me? The princess shook her head. Even if people's appearances are similar, their spirit and bearing differ. Miss Su's eyes are quite different from her sister's. Miss Su, I know that with Chengbai the way he is now, having you marry him is somewhat forced. His refusal that day was because he didn't want to drag you down, not because he resents you. The county princess gave a bitter smile. But as a mother, seeing him now ruining his health, looking as if he no longer wants to live, if there were any way to cure his heartache, I would try it. She spoke earnestly. When you marry into our family, I will surely treat you as my own daughter. If something happens to him in the future and you want to leave, I will never stop you. Please, see him one more time. After the princess finished speaking, she actually bent to salute me. I hurriedly supported her. I'll give it a try. No wonder father used this marriage to curry favor. The Lin family and the Su family have never had any dealings. I'm afraid they pleaded this time precisely to make it happen. Lin Chengbai, I let the name roll off my lips once in my previous life. This person died early. I never knew his gaze had ever lingered on me. I try hard to remember, but nothing comes to mind. Many years passed, and the gatherings and events I once attended in the boudoir, except for those that left a deep impression, had long since been completely forgotten. The princess arranged it again, setting the place for our next meeting at the Marquis of Yong'an's full-month banquet. The heir of the Marquis of Yong'an, newly a father, was well acquainted with Lin Chengbai. The princess and the Marquis's wife were close boudoir friends, so within a few days the invitation from the Yong'an residents arrived at the Su family. The day of the banquet was very lively. taking advantage of no one's notice. I slipped into the back courtyard. To be honest, even if the princess said Lin Chengbai had feelings for me, I wouldn't expect to change someone already set on dying, but she is the princess and my elder. Since she came to plead with me, I had to go through the motions. I waited a long time under the pavilion in the back garden, but no one came. Could it be that Lin Chengbai found out? He came this time only because the princess must have coaxed and tricked him. If he had seen through it, he wouldn't have come at all, and the princess would surely have been disappointed. Thinking this, he suddenly heard a shout not far away. Come quickly, someone's fallen into the water, fallen into the water. Somehow thinking of Lin Chengbai, I hurried toward the source of the sound. By the backyard lake, a little maid was shouting at the top of her lungs. The lake's surface was calm, and something that looked like half a piece of wood was faintly floating there. My heart sank. That piece of wood seemed to be Lin Chengbai's wheelchair. That little maid saw it was me, yet her cries still didn't stop. Clearly, she couldn't swim, but the Marchioness of Yong'an, to avoid gossip, had cleared out most of the rear courtyard. How could she call anyone over? Without time to think, I leapt in. I heard the maid behind me let out a startled cry, and the next moment my ears were flooded with lake water as the full shape of the wood emerged beneath the surface. My heart tightened and I swam deeper. Sure enough, I saw Lin Chengbai sinking toward the bottom of the lake. 7. Cough, cough. After tremendous effort he pulled the man ashore. Lin Chengbai was drenched, and water choked from his throat. The little maid's shouts finally worked. A large group came to the bank and saw me dragging Lin Chengbai up onto the shore. My mother and the commandery princess hurried over when they heard. Seeing the scene, they quickly had the maids take the two of us away to change our clothes. What happened at the Marquis of Yong'an's banquet spread like it had sprouted wings and flew out very quickly. Now there's no way this marriage can be called off. By a twist of fate, it ended up suiting both families, though the process wasn't exactly honorable. When the two families sat down to discuss matters, Lin Chengbai didn't voice any further objections, but in private, the first thing he said when they met was an apology. I'm sorry, Miss Su, you saved my life, yet I repaid you with ingratitude and damaged your reputation. The ship has sailed, there's no need to apologize. I stared into his eyes. Besides, the fact that I was there that day already meant I intended to discuss marriage with you. Lin Chengbai looked away from my gaze, his thin lips pressed together. Master Lin's maimed body has become a burden. I'm afraid it would be an injustice to miss. With that attitude, could anyone not see he was interested in me? I covered his cold hand and felt him tremble slightly. People say young Master Lin is like the moon dimmed by dust, but a moon with dust is still a moon. Besides, young Master Lin suffered for the country and has a noble character. I do not consider this match an unfair one. These are all empty words. Lin Chengbai lowered his gaze. Do you know that living with someone who is physically disabled over time, you can't help but grow weary? Master Lin, I cut him off, knowing he had wandered into a dead end. The day at the bottom of the lake, when I grabbed him, he was clearly still conscious, yet showed no struggle at all, which proved he had long since lost all attachment to the world. How do you know I don't have other plans? I said calmly. Young Master Lin, the Su family is in a bad way in the capital, and I am out of favor at home. Compared to the other choices available to me, I would rather it be you. Lin Chengbai lifted his head and stared at me in a daze. Your illustrious family background is already more than enough for me, not to mention you're good-looking. He seemed startled by my frankness, and after a long moment, slowly said, all right. It's absolutely wonderful that Lin can be of use to Miss Su, and just like that, my marriage to Lin Chengbai was settled. Su Yunshu came to offer her congratulations, smiling with genuine sincerity. After she happened to see me talking with Yuchi Yuan that day, she'd been uneasy and specifically asked me not to mention it to anyone. Now that they know I have no interest in Yuchi Yuan and am already engaged, they can naturally set their minds at ease. When meeting Yuchi Yuan, she brought up that her younger sister had arranged a marriage with the Lin family, only to see Yuchi Yuan's expression tighten. The Lin family. 8. I ran into Yuchi Yuan again in the back garden. He walked straight toward me, cutting off my path with nowhere to escape. I asked him, young Master Yuchi, are you looking for my sister? Drop the act. Yuchi Yuan stared hard at me. as if trying to see right through me. Su Yun Luo, you're back too, aren't you? I froze for a moment, then shook my head. I don't understand what you're saying. Mother called me because she needed me. I'll be going first. Just as I took a step, Yu Chi Yuan seized my wrist, his keen eyes sharp. Su Yun Luo, have you forgotten? I was the one who taught you Fu Shui. I suddenly realized, so this is where the flaw showed. I'd forgotten. At this time I still couldn't swim. It was after I became Lady Yuchi that he taught me. I pulled my aching wrist free and lifted my eyes. So, Yuchi Yuan let out a cold laugh. Aren't you very scheming, always plotting for yourself? Don't tell me you don't know Lin Chengbai is short-lived. Mind your words, young Master Yuchi. I cut him off. You shouldn't say that. And certainly not in front of me. Yuchi Yuan found it somewhat unbelievable. Since you already know, then why still? This doesn't seem to be any of your business, does it? I kept a cold face. Who I marry, what does that have to do with you? Yuchi Yuan was silent for a long moment. At least we were husband and wife once. I'm reminding you. I don't need it. I took a step back, wearing a mocking expression. Wu Kai Yuan, your dying wish was that you didn't want to be buried with me, afraid that in the underworld we'd be entangled again. Did you think I wanted that? After I came back, I never once clung to you. And remember what you said, in this life, the two of us have nothing whatsoever to do with each other. Wu Kai Yuan's hand gradually curled into a fist, so furious he laughed instead. You think I want to tangle with you? If I weren't worried your sister would be anxious, do you think I'd bother saying any of this to you? He looked at me deeply. Since you're asking for trouble, I'll just wait and watch you regret it. 9. On the day of the grand wedding, after all the cumbersome rituals were done, Lin Chengbai got into bed, and his gaze paused slightly. Today has been full of tedious affairs. You must be tired too, rest first. His words were halted by my hand reaching for his collar. He turned his head away, seeming a little embarrassed. No need, I asked in confusion. Aren't you going to rest? In the dim candlelight, his features looked even more striking. And dressed in red, he seemed in much better spirits. My hand was gently held. Lin Chengbai pressed his lips together and, with some difficulty, said, I mean, could we not, tonight? My movements paused slightly. Husband, could it be that you're still hurt there? No, Lin Chengbai denied it at once, then added, it's just that I'm not ready yet. Ready for this. What does he need to prepare? My gaze fell on his legs and I realized, so I soothed him, it's okay, I'll be on top, it's the same. Lin Chengbai's expression wavered, as if he still wanted to say something before he could speak. I leaned in and gave his lower lip a light bite. You said it was for me to use. Heat rose to Lin Chengbai's face. He wanted to say how could that be the same thing, but I sealed his lips again today. This room is something I must consummate. Lin Chengbai can only live 2 years. If I want to have a child, I have to make every day count. I've already thought it through. Anyway, in my previous life, a man might as well have been dead even if he wasn't. In this life, I might as well be a widow, but I still want a child. Lin Chengbai lay collapsed on the bed, letting me kiss him as I pleased. His lips were sucked until they turned crimson, and his hand gradually settled on my lower back. His phoenix eyes were hazy, looking like he was ready to be toyed with. I lifted my eyes to his expression, and for some reason, something itched in my heart. In a brief pause for breath, Lin Chengbai looked up and asked me earnestly, have you really made up your mind? Everyone's already married, why is he still hung up on this? I didn't say more. Instead, I raised my hand and undid his belt. Married for a year now, I've been living quite comfortably. The Lin family truly was as I had imagined. Upright family values and a simple household. The housewife in the back courtyard handled everything. When she learned that I got along well with Lin Chengbai, she started bringing good things to me as if her life depended on it. If I tried to refuse, she would dab at her eyes. Yun Luo, you don't know, before you married in, Chengbai was gloomy all the time, locked himself in his room, and wouldn't eat properly. Now under your care, he's willing to eat well, his health has improved a lot, and he smiles more. As his mother, I see all this, it's my goodwill, so just accept it. She even waved her hand and gave me a few shops. I felt a little embarrassed and turned to Lin Chengbai. Could you try to persuade my mother? Tell her not to give me things anymore. mainly because I haven't done anything. Lin Chengbai doesn't need me to take care of him at all. After they married, he has taken very good care of himself, even to the point of being cautious about his life. Marrying me was already an injustice to you. He patted my head. Whatever mother gives you, just accept it. Lin Chengbai truly was a very good man. He spoke little, desired little, had a gentle temperament, and treated me extremely well. Sadly, good people never live long. In 1 year, he will be dead. Died of a sudden illness. I'm not sure exactly what it was. Looking at his face, I thought of that portrait and pressed my hidden emotions deep down. Since that's the case, I'll just accompany him on his final journey. 10. On the emperor's 60th birthday, princes from all regions would come to the capital to offer their congratulations, and Cheng Wang was also released. The palace held a grand banquet for 3 days, celebrating with the court officials. At this critical moment, the emperor was attacked by assassins, and Cheng Wang rushed forward and took a sword for the emperor. That sword pierced his heart. Half an inch more and his life would have been forfeit. His Majesty granted him special permission to remain in the capital to recuperate. With such a grievous wound, it would be hard to fully heal in less than 2 months. When the other princes returned to their fiefs, Prince Cheng was still living in the capital. In her previous life, Prince Cheng managed to ascend the throne. He was clearly no ordinary man. After this series of moves, I both won the monarch's favor and successfully stayed in the capital. A few days later, I received word from the Su family. Su Yunshu had gone missing. She made a trip back to the Su residence. When she left, her mother personally saw her get into the carriage, but she never returned. Men from the Yuchi residence came to inquire. Mother brushed them off with the excuse that she had let her stay the night. Then searched in secret. 2 or 3 days passed, and there was still no sign of Su Yunshu. She turned and handed me a letter. It must be Prince Cheng who sought out your sister. Mother's expression was strained. What are we to do now? If Yuchi Yuan finds out, your sister's reputation will be ruined. She pondered for a long time, as if making up her mind, and took my hand. Yun Luo, why don't you go back in your sister's place first, so as not to arouse Yuchi Yuan's suspicions? I pulled a mocking smile. Su Yunshu's reputation is worth protecting, but mine isn't. When I said those words out loud, father and mother looked at me and fell somewhat silent. A sudden bad premonition rose in my heart. Luoa, don't blame us. We're doing this for your own good too. Taking Yun Shu's place as the lady of the Yuchi residence is better than being a living widow. My body suddenly went weak. My father's voice grew indistinct, and the figure before my eyes wavered. There was something wrong with the tea my mother gave me, but it was already too late. My eyelids grew heavy, and I blacked out. 11. When I opened my eyes again, my body swayed. I was inside a dim carriage. The candlelight flickered, and I saw a tall figure opposite me, Yuchi Yuan. I never would have thought my parents would tie me up and send me to Yuchi Yuan. I stepped back warily. I'm not Su Yunshu, I'm Su Yunluo. Let me go back. I know. Yuchi Yuan raises his hand, wanting to touch the hair on my forehead. I turned my head aside. Since you already know, why won't you let me go back? Go back, Yuchi Yuan countered. You're my wife. Why would I let you go back? I almost thought I was hallucinating. Yun Luo, he looked serious. In our past lives, I hated your deceit and was consumed by obsession, so I treated you coldly. Now that I've been given another chance and everything I wanted has come true, I still feel an emptiness inside. Is this man crazy? I felt it was absurd and scooted even farther away. Not until I learned that Su Yunshu and Cheng Wang were secretly seeing each other, and felt not the slightest ripple in my heart, did I realize that I had only regarded her as my savior. Cheng Wang has taken Su Yunshu away. She won't be coming back, just like in your past life. You took her place. Let's be together again. I won't hold the past against you. Let's live well together. Okay. Yuchi Yuan sat forward, that face, so full of self-righteousness it made one sick. I laughed in fury and signaled him to come closer. Is that so? Do you know, you're disgusting. I thrust the hairpin in my hand toward his neck with all my strength. My wrist was gripped tight. Yuchi Yuan raised his hand and pressed down, and I couldn't move. Su Yunluo, have you forgotten? His dark eyes deepened. All your self-defense skills were taught by me. Yuchi Yuan grew up in the army with General Yuchi from a young age. In our passionate days, he did teach me quite a lot, so what, in this lifetime, we agreed to keep out of each other's business, yet he insisted on being shameless, disrupting my peaceful life. I stared at him and suddenly laughed. Yuchi Yuan, you really are shameless. Yes, Yuchi Yuan simply admitted it, and slowly let me go. It's my fault for being contemptible. You don't have to forgive me now. But Lin Chungbua is crippled and will die soon. How much better is he than me? Give me a chance to make it up to you. Okay. Freed from the restraints, I sneered, turned and threw back the carriage curtain, about to jump down. Yuchi Yuan's face changed behind me. Stop her. The groom turned pale with fright and focused only on stopping me. Taking advantage of his inattention, he didn't notice me lift my hand. The wrist-mounted sleeve arrows fired 3 shots at once, striking hard into the horse's rump. The horse neighed in pain. Yuchi Yuan grabbed the back of my collar and yanked me back, gritting his teeth. Are you out of your mind? The horse was completely out of control, running faster and faster, veering erratically, and even the carriage was shaking violently. From outside came the coachman's somewhat panicked voice. Young master, this horse won't stop. You're doing just fine. Before we were thrown out, Yuchi Yuan lifted me and jumped out at the same time. Another gold hairpin stabbed into his shoulder. The carriage still had momentum, holding me. Yuchi Yuan rolled several times on the ground before coming to a stop. Blood was already seeping from his shoulder. He sat up, took a few deep breaths through clenched teeth, and looked somewhat hurt. Yun Luo, do you really have the heart to hurt me? Expressionless, I raised my hand and slapped him. Bitch, 12 at dusk. Such commotion within the Imperial City naturally drew the attention of the Imperial City Department. By coincidence, the leader of today's patrol from the Imperial City Department was the heir of Marquis Yongan. When he saw me, his face lit up with joy. Sister-in-law, he stepped forward and, catching sight of Yuchi Yuan beside him, froze for a moment, almost doubting that he had mistaken the person. I spoke. It was me, half a year ago. It was at the full-month banquet for the son of the Marquis of Yongan's daughter that Lin Chengbei fell into the water and was rescued by me at that time. Lin Chengbei's falling into the water was not an accident. He had been bullied by the Marquis's illegitimate son, and while being pushed and shoved, he accidentally fell into the lake. Afterwards, the Marquis of Yongan's household did not shelter anyone and dealt with the matter harshly, so the incident was put to rest, and the relationship between the two families was not much affected. Yuchi Yuan spoke first. I was escorting my wife's younger sister home and accidentally overturned the carriage, but she's fine now. He pulled out the gold hairpin from his shoulder, dressed in black. In the dim light you couldn't tell he had been injured. I snorted. At least he knows how to feel embarrassed. The heir of the Marquis of Yongan hurriedly sent someone to escort me back. I nodded and said okay. At night, when Lin Chengbei came back and saw me, he spun the wheelchair at a dizzying speed. He quickly gripped my hand. The palm was cold. When he saw I hadn't returned by the afternoon, he secretly asked someone through the heir of Marquis Yongan, and then set off for the Su family. The Su family members answered evasively, only saying I had taken a carriage home. After confirming I wasn't injured, Lin Chengbei touched my face and softly asked, Yun Luo, can you tell me what happened? I omitted the part about being reborn and laid out everything about the Su family wanting me to take on Su Yunshu's identity. Listening, Lin Chengbei's hand slowly clenched into a fist. It's all my fault. I was taken aback. What does this have to do with you? They are like that simply because they value the benefits Yuchi Yuan can give them. Lin Chengbei's gaze dropped, falling on his own legs, his eyes darkening. If I hadn't made people look down on you, you wouldn't have had to go through this. Why dwell on such things? Don't doubt yourself because of people blinded by avarice. I quickly offered words of comfort. A year after we married, my father kept asking me to use my connection with the Lin family to help him with matters, but I refused every time. Over time, they naturally came to feel that the Lin family's influence didn't compare to the Yuchi family's, not wanting to lose the Yuchi family as an in-law while also wanting to cover up Cheng Wang's forcible taking of another man's wife. They came up with this idea. As for the young madam of the Lin family, they would simply say she went missing. If someone is missing long enough, they have to hold funeral rites. And as for her reputation, no one would bother about that. Yun Luo. Lin Chengbai suddenly reached out and pulled me into his arms, his breath slightly heavy. I promise, from this day on, I will never let anyone bully or humiliate you again. I nodded and held him a little tighter. Silently making plans in my heart when we brushed past each other just now, Yuchi Yuan whispered to me, "I'll wait for you to make up your mind." He looked absolutely certain he'd get his way, disgusting rather than regret. It was more like he just wasn't used to it. Su Yunshu is not like me in my past life. Circling around him just as Prince Cheng and Su Yunshu have reconciled, it gives him room and saves him the trouble. No, I must find a way to get Su Yunshu back. 13 A few days later, I went back to the Su family again. When my father and mother saw me, the guilt on their faces was impossible to hide. I said with a blank expression, "I want to see Su Yunshu." Father swept his sleeve away. "Your sister is with King Cheng. What use is it for you to tell us this? Is father really that afraid of King Cheng? My sister is now married and was taken by King Cheng's men, and father doesn't even dare say no. All he thinks of is using me as a substitute." I said with some sarcasm. "Have you forgotten how the Su family was dragged down before? Do you really want to suffer a second humiliation?" Father stared at me heavily, then finally sighed. "No matter whether Prince Cheng returns to the capital, in other people's eyes our family has always been aligned with him. Now that he has returned, if the Su family doesn't want to be ruined, is there any path other than doubling down? Who could have expected that Prince Cheng would ever come back? If only we'd known back then." Mother sighed. "It's all fate. When I was pregnant with you, a Taoist once foretold that the firstborn of this pregnancy would have the destiny of a phoenix." I laughed, laughing at myself for being brushed off by them yet again. So the claim that they favored me in childhood and favored my sister when we grew up was nothing but their sweet talk to fool me. The truth is they believed in that so-called phoenix fate and always placed extra importance on Su Yunshu in my past life. Su Yunshu did indeed become empress, but what was the result? Didn't the king of Cheng abandon her for the sake of his cousin? And didn't the Su family lose the emperor's favor? If you truly believed in this so-called phoenix fate, why did you marry her to Yuchi Yuan back then? If you regret it now, I'm afraid it's already too late. Father scowled furiously, and I didn't want to say more. "Let me see Su Yunshu." When I saw Su Yunshu, she was dressed as a maid, returning through the Su family's back gate. I shook my head. "You could have been Lady Yuchi, yet you ran off to be a maid. Sister, I truly don't know what you were thinking. Prince Cheng is now gravely injured and bedridden, and it is Su Yunshu who, disguised as a maid, is tending to him." Hearing this, Su Yunshu tightened her grip on her sleeves. "I'm afraid that because I'm getting married, Prince Cheng will take out his anger on the Su family." "Is that so?" I grabbed her hand and stared at her, saying, "Then come with me to file a complaint to the emperor, accuse Prince Cheng of forcing himself on his subject's wife. When the emperor is enraged, he might even send him back to his fief. Let's see how he takes out his anger." "No." Su Yunshu pulled her hand away and hastily stepped back. "Now that Prince Cheng has regained the emperor's favor, yet still keeps me by his side, once he achieves his aims one day, I will still." "Sister, when did you become so naive?" I interrupted her, laughing. "How can you think that after you remarried while he was imprisoned, and then crowded back to him when he was reinstated, he would treat you the same as before? Having you go dressed as a maid to serve him now is nothing but torment and humiliation. Do you really think he still has feelings for you?" Su Yunshu was taken aback, then shook her head. No, he said. "Elder sister, get a grip." I shook my head. "Why don't you ask the people around Prince Cheng? During those days in his fief, there was always a cousin surnamed Shun by his side. That's the one he holds closest to his heart." Su Yunshu's face turned pale. "How do you know?" Obviously, she knew who I was talking about. "I naturally have my own connections. I'm telling you this only because I don't want to see you keep following King Cheng like this. It's hardly respectable." I sighed. "In a while, your disappearance won't be possible to hide, and we'll have no choice but to announce your death publicly. By then, you truly will have no way out." 14 I know Su Yunshu. She is competitive and ambitious, but she is not mindless. She has already married another man. If she keeps entangling with Prince Cheng, even if they reconcile, How much favor could she still win from him? Especially since this cousin has become a thorn wedged between her and Prince Cheng. I thought I could wait for Su Yunshu to leave or expose Prince Cheng, but unexpectedly, what came first was the morning bell from the palace. Prince Cheng's injuries worsened, and he passed away by convention. The emperor always blames the imperial physicians and the attendants. But this time, the emperor didn't say anything obviously. The emperor's attitude toward Prince Cheng was also very complicated. Su Yunshu transformed and returned to the Yuchi household. This time back, she was noticeably much more composed, always looking at me with inscrutable eyes. Her return to the Yuchi household made everyone very happy. She was Yuchi Yuan's lifesaver. Without Prince Cheng, Yuchi Yuan couldn't possibly treat such a living person carelessly, so he would naturally be somewhat more restrained toward me after the matter was settled. I hardly returned to the Su family if it didn't concern my future. I wouldn't want to get involved in this mess. But Su Yunshu actually took the initiative to send a calling card and sort out the Lin family. As soon as she entered, she dismissed the attendants, then knelt down before me. I watched coldly, not knowing what scheme she was hatching this time. Yun Luo, in our past life, it was all my fault. I frowned deeply, studying her for a long moment. She was reborn too. Su Yunshu lifted her head, pale. I just couldn't accept that I had mistaken the person. I never expected to have harmed you. I asked her, when did you come back? Su Yunshu stood up, her eyes turning cold. That bitch Shen Ruo really treated me like a maid to torment me, shoved me. I hit my head, and only then did I regain memories of my past life. I put a medicine on that faithless man's wound that would make it worsen. Speaking of Cheng Wang, Su Yunshu ground her teeth. He really is good at playing the martyr. Almost died from it once, then I'll see him off. She stepped forward and grabbed my hand, seeming genuinely moved. Yun Luo, I have wronged you. Seeing you become a widow in this life breaks my heart. Why don't we swap? I'll give you my place so you can rekindle your past with. Okay. I pulled my hand back, my expression cold and indifferent. You already know what you did, so I'll tell you this. From now on, I refuse to call myself your sister. If you think you mistook the person in your past life, then make up for that regret now. Be with him properly and tell him not to bother me. Su Yunshu shook her head. I'm doing this for your own good. If you won't accept it, then fine. But I still have to warn you. Do you know that Lin Chengbai died by suicide in his past life? Before falling asleep at night, I thought of Su Yunshu's words. She had been an empress in her previous life, so she naturally knew many family secrets unknown to others. Self-inflicted death. Such a death is always undignified. No wonder when Lin Chengbai held the funeral, the Lin family listed the cause of death as a sudden illness. Can't you sleep, my lady? Behind me, Lin Chengbai held me and asked softly, I'm thinking. I closed my eyes lightly. When you fell into the lake back then, why were you still conscious yet didn't struggle? Lin Chengbai gathered my hair. At that time, I was utterly disheartened, with nothing left to hold me back, so of course I went to my death calmly. I asked in return, and now, would you still do that, now that I have my wife? Of course I wouldn't. He nuzzled into the crook of my neck, warm breath spilling down, a little ticklish. I won't leave you alone to be bullied by others, idiot. I thought of that painting and leaned quietly against him. Looks like my scheming is going to come to nothing as well. 15. And so the days went on like this. The emperor passed away on the same day as in my previous life, leaving an edict of succession that bestowed the throne on Prince Wu. After King Zi died, the good-natured King of Wu stood out among the princes. After King of Wu ascended the throne, with a single edict, Lin Chengbai entered the cabinet and was appointed Grand Mentor to the Crown Prince. Only then did everyone realize that the seemingly neutral Lin family had actually taken part in the struggle for the heir apparent. Upon returning home, Elder Lin flew into a rage and ordered the family discipline be administered. I told everyone at home early on, the Lin family only honors the emperor and does not get involved with princes. Yet what did you do? Secretly advising the prince. How can I face the emperor after I send you away? The mother-in-law hurriedly pleaded. Father-in-law, if Chengbai can enter the civil service with honor, why would he take such risks? He finally pulled himself together and is willing to work. Please spare him this once. Lin Chengbai shook his head at his mother. Mother, it's my fault. I am willing to accept the family penalty. After several lashes, old Minister Lin could no longer bring himself to be severe and sighed. Fine, I'm old, I can't manage you anymore. He opened a pair of sharp eyes. Chungbua, from now on before you act, think of your wife. Being with the ruler is like being with a tiger. You must be extremely careful. Grandfather, rest assured, Chungbua understands. After returning to the room, I applied medicine to him, the cool ointment spreading across his back. I only just learned about this too, but I didn't ask why because I think I probably know what happened with my disappearance last time has clearly stayed on his mind. He promised that day he would never let anyone bully or humiliate me again, then plunged into the study as if he were working something out. Back then I was already wondering what Lin Chengbai was going to do. Now that the dust has settled, it's more or less as expected. Yun Luo, Lin Chengbai, lay sprawled on the couch, phoenix eyes half lowered, hooking my hand with a slight curl of his fingers. I'll drive out of the capital all those you don't wish to see. Alright. With the new emperor's accession, the court underwent a round of reshuffling on Lin Chengbai's recommendation. Yu Qiyuan was reassigned to guard the southwest, my father was appointed to Qingyuan prefecture, and the whole family relocated. Su Yunshu divorced Yu Qiyuan and went with the Su family before leaving. She came to say goodbye to me. Yun Luo, I truly owe you an apology. In that case, almost every time we met after that, she had to say it once. But I stopped caring long ago. 16 The question about that painting came up one afternoon basking in the sun. I suddenly thought of it and asked aloud, when did you first fall for me? Very early, Lin Chengbai recalled. Back then, I always used to spot you at banquets. A banquet, I recall the many banquets I attended in my youth. Most of the time, my mother would lead my sister around mingling with everyone, while I found a quiet corner to sit by myself. What a coincidence, I also like staying in quiet corners, so I could always see you. Lin Chengbai recited them as if listing cherished treasures. The first time I saw you, you were fishing a cat out of the lake and almost fell in yourself. The second time I saw you, you were counting ants. The third time we met, you broke the chess problem I had set. The fourth time we met, you bumped into me. When you saw I was a man, you kept apologizing without looking up and ran off. Without realizing it, I grew fond of you and secretly drew your portrait. His tone softened. If not for what happened later, I would have come to propose. Back then, I only felt that no one liked me, and that I fell short of my elder sister in every way. I never imagined that, in those occasions where I felt excluded in my youth, someone had always been quietly watching over me. Still the Lin Chengbai who stands out in everyone else's eyes. Yun Luo, thank you for being willing to be with me. Being with you makes me really happy. As he said this, Lin Chengbai's eyes were very bright, and his handsome face was full of a smile. I looked at him and froze for a moment. Even when veiled in dust, the bright moon still sheds its pure light, making one willingly sink into it in this life. I never expected much from love, yet unexpectedly, I've truly met someone who treats me with a sincere heart. I smiled softly and lifted my head to brush a light kiss at the corner of his lips. May the rest of my life be filled with such good luck. The end. Yu Qiyuan extra. No matter how he thought about it, Yu Qiyuan couldn't figure out why Lin Chengbai hadn't died in this lifetime. He's waiting for Su Yun Luo to become a widow, waiting for her to hit a dead end, waiting for her to turn back until Su Yunshu, who was also reborn, told him the truth about the stand-in marriage, told him that in the previous life, Lin Chengbai took his own life. Then why doesn't he die in this life? Yu Qiyuan tightened his grip on the hairpin in his hand, the very one Su Yun Luo had once driven into his body with her own hands, and the only thing of hers he possessed in this lifetime. In his past life, he had been stubborn, thinking only that Su Yun Luo had deceived him for an entire lifetime. He had treated her so well, yet she had lied to him. Yu Qiyuan hated deception most of all, and despised emotions gained through scheming, so he neglected her for a lifetime until he was about to die. Children and grandchildren, relatives, and friends wept together. Su Yun Luo was closest to him, Yet her face was indifferent. She used to always follow behind him. When did she become so indifferent? Why isn't she crying? He's going to die. Is she not even a little sad, facing their children? Right in front of her, Yu Chi-yuan spoke those heart-piercing words. Then he closed his eyes, thinking she would surely cry this time. When he opened them, he had returned to the time before they were married. He hurried to the Su household, determined to make up for the regrets of his previous life. But what if those regrets were never regrets at all? After marrying Su Yunshu, Yu Chi-yuan always found himself thinking of Su Yunluo. She was always very quiet and considerate, just a bit timid. Like a pretty little flower, he watched her, under his careful nurturing, learn many things and grow bolder. She was the wife he had raised with his own hands, yet because of a moment of mistaken judgment, in this lifetime she was taken by someone else. He had wanted to snatch it back, but she refused, so he could only rein in his temper and wait. But he waited and waited until he himself was reassigned to the southwest, waited until Lin Chengbai was saved by a divine physician and stood up, waited until Lin Chengbai and Su Yunluo's child was born, and still Su Yunluo never looked back. They had a child in their previous life, too, a son and a daughter, obedient and sensible. Sadly, in this lifetime, I will never see them again.